Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, March 30th. A couple more days of the month here. Get through this volatile month of March. Getting right into it today. The only thing I see on here is Fed Paul is speaking today at 9:30 a.m. at Harvard University. Pretty typical for him to make these speeches and stop-offs at these colleges. So he'll probably be talking about policy there. There'll be some focus there. So be aware if you're in the market because, he has a tendency of killing any kind of rally most of the time. So just watch yourself at 9:30 because he is speaking there, but could be short-lived once he's done speaking. So just watch yourself at 9:30. There is pretty much data most of the week. Tomorrow you have jobs report at 9 o'clock. So watch yourself at 9. Tomorrow we'll go over all that. You have consumer confidence as well. And then you have some Fed speaks after that later on in the afternoon tomorrow. Wednesday, we have a few sets of numbers there. Non-farm unemployment change, core retail sales month over month. These numbers are still delayed based on this shutdown here, retail sales as well. ISM manufacturing at 9 o'clock. And then on Thursday, unemployment claims, and then we finish off the week with non-farm unemployment change, unemployment rate, and then not to mention we're still dealing with the Department of Homeland Security shutdown going on right now, the battle between the Democrats and the Republicans, which I just think that right now when these lawmakers are making these policies and they're preventing these government workers from working, I think that they should not be allowed to take a paycheck either while they're dangling around and messing around with people's lives. That's just my own political opinion on that, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So, also one thing I want to talk about too, I forgot to talk about. Trump came out and he said that they were in deep negotiations with Iran, new regime, and they said that if they're having positive talks. However, if they do not come with a deal, that they are going to continue with force and pretty much take everything else out if they don't get the deal that they want. So I think that deal also has ground troops in the package. So we'll see what happens this week. But I think that what's been happening over the last month is it's been a Monday, Tuesday risk on type attitude. Wednesday kind of flat, Thursday, Friday risk off. People not wanting to have risk going into the weekend because they don't know what's going to happen over the weekend with the geopolitical unrest in Iran. So let's start off with the VIX. That's what we've been starting with lately. VIX spiked on Friday, got up to $31.65. We needed to pull back. We still had this open gap, this gap up from March 25th. Like to see that fill. It actually comes right in with this 20-day moving average of 25.36. If we can plow through that and get below that, I like that, and then we can maybe work our way down to the 50-day moving average at $21.46. We really want to try to get down and hover below this 200-day moving average so we can get back to some normalcy and get rid of the volatility in our marketplace. But I think that right now volatility is spiked, and that means that get in and out of your trades if you're a day trader. And then as far as your long-term trades, I would say make sure that you're buying good stocks and then looking for those good values of pullback. So we're approaching those levels. I think there's a lot of downside that's already priced into the market. So as one pretty smart analyst says, if you have some dry powder, it's a pretty good time to start legging into things. So another thing I'm going to start putting up here and going over here is crude oil. It's the crude oil is more domestic for the United States. It's over $100 a barrel right now, and so we want to get this thing down below maybe 87. However, with crude being at $100 barrel, it's actually good for equities. Bad for retail, bad for the consumer's pocketbook, but it's actually good for equities. So that's something to keep in mind there. And then if we go over Brent crude, that's more the Eastern civilization, the European. This is Brent. This is European Brent crude. It's $107 a barrel, so you pay attention to that as well. So Watch your crude and your Brent oil, your Brent crude. That will give you an idea about what's happening. I think that you have inflationary numbers that are going to start happening right now, and it's definitely going to be impacting inflation. I don't see how it cannot. So, anyways, let's get into what we typically do. Let's go into the ES. By the way, a few announcements here. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. If you are, and also go down in the description area, join our Discord community for live trading from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. And also, we are a few other things too. If you go to our website at QOLTrading.com and join the subscription there, we started putting out a newsletter. We had our second edition yesterday, so you can get that copy every Sunday, and it pretty much goes over the week, the previous week, and the week ahead. Just kind of a summary of what's happening out there, so you can kind of get a beat on things. And then also, if you can join our Discord community, I'm getting a vote and getting an idea of doing a Sunday Q&A, pretty much directly evolved around anything around options trading, equities, broader markets. I've been trading for 30 plus years, so I have a lot of information, but I don't know what questions people have. Beginners, advanced, doesn't matter. Like to entertain this and try to get a feel and pulse from what people want me to start covering out here. So if you go on the Discord, I started a poll out there, so we've got some time slots from 4 to 5 Eastern time, 5 o'clock to 6 p.m. Eastern time, and 6 to 7 Eastern time on Sundays. I'd like to try to get the first one going this Sunday, so please join the Discord and then give us your vote on for your Sunday Q&A. Anyways, getting into it, ES right now, you can see we're holding here. Had some dip down here to 63.60.25. Big levels to get above right now. We had this point of control that was open. I drew up point of control yesterday evening. So if we can get above and hold this 64.58.32, I'd like us to possibly move up into this August of 2025 high, 66.23. If we can regain that, I'd like us to push back into this previously filled point of control at 65.88.71. And if we can get through that and have some good volume push, I'd like us to try to get through this 20-day moving average at 66.69.31. If we lose that flame and negotiations break down in Iran, we're going to lose this downside. 63.71.75 is a pretty important level here. It's a September low of last year. We lose that, 63.18.75 is our next level of support I have. Below that, 62.39.50, and then below that is a high from March of last year at 61.66.50. I would say that that's a pretty important level there. I don't have anything on the charts below that level up until like 58.05.75. I'd have to go back and see. I'm sure there's quite a few levels in between there, but that'd be a pretty significant downside if we got down there today. So if we do start losing some of these levels, I'll start plotting some of these lower levels here, but I'm a little bit more optimistic right now that these markets are going to start holding. We'll start pushing our way higher here. So let's take a look at the SPY. SPY is going to be pretty similar, and I'll take a look at the SPY here. Same thing on the SPY. Point of control I drew from yesterday, 630.55 was that level. So if we can get above that, also the 639.85, which is a July monthly high of last year. And then you can see here, this is the pre-market low from last Monday before all the talks came. And then when the administration came out and said that they were going to have a 5-day pause on Iran, and then the market rallied. And then at the end of the week, which was Friday, we lost that pre-market low, right? And then everything kind of went south. So I would say that if you can regain that 641, which is last Monday's pre-market low, I think you can start moving higher into the 643.33 before you start getting a little headwind up there. If you do plow through that, then you've got this 644.72, which is March 20th low. Now, I would say that that's going to be some pretty significant headwind right there as well. But if you do get that push, maybe there's some kind of announcement that there's a deal made. If you do get some kind of deal made there, you have to be careful with your shorts, right? Because any kind of really good positive news can really set us off to the races here. and then we can start pushing our way back up into this 200-day moving average, which is sitting at 661.63. You know, you get some spark like that, you know, it could be off to the races. However, you know, somebody sets off a bomb or something out there and just just says that the peace talks are no good, or if the U.S. says, okay, well, talks are not going well, and we start going back to using force, then we're gonna lose all these levels, and we're gonna start approaching down here and move our way down to the 619.29 level, which is an August low of last year. So let's get into the NASDAQ. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video, go down in the description and join our Discord community for live trading from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then also don't forget to vote on that poll for a good time slot for Q&A, YouTube, a live stream Q&A for Sunday, this coming Sunday. We're shooting for. On the NASDAQ here, same thing on the NASDAQ. I had this point of control I drew yesterday, and that was from Friday, 23,351.17. You can see we popped above it right now in pre-market. We're holding it. So I would say that this looks like a pretty decent level right now. So if we do get some pullback, you could probably use this as support right now. And then if we get above this 23,505 level, which looks like it's a low from September of last year, towards the end of September of last year, hold that level, you push towards this 23,616.25. It's August, the end of August high. It's also like, if you can get above that, it'll break a structure from Friday. So I would say upside, if you break and hold above this 23,616.25 on the NASDAQ, it's a breaking structure here. And then maybe it breaks this downward cycle and we can start moving upward. However, this 23,768.27 is going to give you a little bit of a problem here. It's a low from last Thursday, and it's also the pre-market low from last Monday. So I would suspect it would be probably a break and retest, and you could probably get a little reaction here for some resistance here. However, if you continue to push through that level right there, you could push up into this November low of last year of 23,904.50, right? You know, and if we could start pushing and holding some of these levels, we could start pushing back and getting into the 20 and the 200-day moving average. 20 sitting at 24,521.68, right? But if you lose these levels, I would say your first level line in the sand today. If you lose this 23,351.17 level, you come down to yesterday's Friday's close, sitting at 23,264.90. Call it. Lose that level, you're going to come down and test this July high at 23,112. Below that, you have a September low and a June of 2025 high sitting at 23,025. And you can see that it's kind of respecting that. Didn't quite get down there, but I would say that you have some pretty decent levels of support down there. So let's get over to the Qs, and then we'll move over to Tesla. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and like this video. Hit that bell over there so you can get future notifications for videos that I make outside of the streams here. So same thing here on the Qs. You have the 563.55, which is a point of control level from Friday, holding that level in pre-market right now. So I like this level. You can see how it came down here. Nice little wick here, and it's holding it in pre-market. I would say if you pull back here, not a bad level to use as support, and you can have your stop over Friday's close. It's at 562.58. And maybe push into this pre-market low at 573.25 from last Monday. And then you have that 574.63, which is July of 2025's high. Get above that, then I'd like us to push into the 580.74, which is November's monthly low, before you get a little resistance up there. On the downside, if you lose Friday's close, 562.58, you come down to this 559.54. I think you kind of blow through that one, and then you try to approach this August of 2025 low at 551.68. Below that, you lose that. You have 544.66 is July of last year's low. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for the broader markets and the SPY and the Qs. Let's get over to Tesla. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Like this video by hitting that thumbs up button, and join our Discord community down in the description area for live trading from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. Tesla, same thing. On Tesla here, we have I don't know what that kind of flash wick was there. It was right kind of when the market closed there. Let's see what kind of volume there was there. Not horrible volume, but looks like there was a big seller up in there when the market kind of spiked up there. So we'll see what happens today. Again, same thing. It looks like it may be respecting this previously filled point of control at 365.83. We still have one open point of control level. Let me just get some levels in here first. Some noise first. Okay, so here's our close from Friday, sitting at 361.97. It's trying to make some little rebound here in the here was the yesterday kind of open here. Here's the pre-market here. We'll see what Tesla can do. We do have some levels here. This is a low from Friday, so I would not be surprised if we pop into this low from Friday and then get a little resistance. You broke Friday's low, kind of opened up right below the low from Thursday and just did not even look back. So break and retest. If you pop up here to 371, could get some resistance here. Your first level here, though, if you can get above this May of last year's high, 367.71, I think you can push quickly into this 371.67 level. This becomes this nice little speed zone from Friday. And then you probably get a little resistance here. However, if you do plow through that 371.87, next level that I have up here for a little headwind would be this 377.28 to 378.45 level. And then above that, you have that 381.40, which is a weekly low from March 9th. On the downside, if you lose Friday's close, which was sitting at 362.10, I think you come back down here. You see, we respected this weekly high. What was this weekly high from? This weekly high was from September of last year, right? So look at that, pretty much bounced off it. It's pretty decent level, 355.67. So I would say if you do lose this, and when the market opens, I think your next level of support could be this regressional trend line that I have from the high of December of last year, sitting at 352.99. Below that, you have 348.98, and then this 344.82, which is a September low. And then below that, this is our last point of control. We have this last point of control that is open down at 333.78, right? So I'd like to see that get filled, right? So if we get that filled, then we can start getting and working our way back up to these open point of controls that we have above us. We have an open point of control at 388.90, and that's from Wednesday of last week. We have another one at 397.89, and that's from the March 18th. Above that, if you get above that, that means you're above the 20 or above the 200, and then you can start working your way. Here's the 50 right here, but you can start working your way towards the 100. The 50 will be sitting at 408.64, but then you have some open point of controls at 455.12, and then the last one that's still open above us is 478.39. For those of you that are new to the channel, last year we started talking about these point of controls that were open. We had an open point of control from January of last year at 416. The market pulled all the way back down to, I think, the low twos. I'm not even sure if it did below twos. Maybe it was 208, 207. And then it finally filled that 417 point of control in September. So 9 months later, it finally filled. So that's pretty much why these point of control levels open. So now if you even look at this point of control was open since September of last year. So this one filled, this one just recently filled on March 20th. So you see the timeline on these point of controls, they could stay open for quite a bit. So we still have this last point of control that's been open since September of last year. Hopefully, I don't want to see this market pull back another 30 points, but if we do fill this, then maybe we can start working our way back, to the higher ends and fill these upper point of control levels. So as far as today, now let's getting into what we're going to do for today. As far as our trading, let's go over the really quickly though, our 5-minute opening range. So our 5-minute opening range has been, it's pretty consistent. Just had to been patient and watch out for these. The wicks, right? The wicks kind of kill you. But on Friday, you had a range 365.62 to 363.58. Not a really big, what was that? Yeah, not a very big range for your 5-minute range. $4, not horrible. and you finally got your break at about 20 minutes after the market opened, and then you could have gotten a couple dollars out of that move. And we got 361. So you don't really need that much to make your money, but if you stayed strong all day, you can use these levels to be trading off of. So when you had that first 5-minute opening range trade here, and then it broke. So now I'm thinking all day. Now I'm looking for pop and fades because I see, okay, what it's telling me today is we broke. The only thing it told me here when the market's coming up is that we broke the 5-minute range today. And if I looked at the other broader markets and I saw what the broader markets were doing, it was pretty much selling most of the day. So I would be looking for, once you broke it the first time, now I'm looking for another level another level to take a short or another break. So I could have waited, been patient. It broke it right here. I could have taken it down again. And so now your break from this, from the original break of 365.41, and you could have gotten it down to could have gotten down another $6. So, and how does that translate? So how does that translate? If you think the market's selling off, you buy a put, right? So if you bought a one lot and it went down $6, your rule of thumb is anywhere from 40 to 45 cents per dollar. So call it 50 cents for easy math. So if it went down $6 and you bought a one lot, whatever your premium price was, you would have made $300, right? So if you think the market's going up, you buy a call. And if you think the market's going down, you buy a put. Okay, so what I'm starting with today, even though we have today expiration date options to trade, and those of you that are new, since January 26th, they now have they have 3 weekly expiration dates, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm choosing not to trade the 0 DTs. Buy yourself a little time. It makes your premium prices less volatile. Every premium price is going to be very volatile on the first 5 minutes of the market because the markets are moving up and down. It doesn't have a direction. So these premium prices will be fluctuating, very, rapidly. So, but that being said, I'm going to, instead of trading today's expiration date, I'm going to trade Wednesday's expiration date, which is going to be, I got to change this actually. It is going to be 401. So I'm going to trade the April 1st 370 calls, and so you can see they close at $4.05. And then I'm going to trade the April 1st 360 puts, and you can see they closed at $6.40. So we're hovering right about that. It's elevated from the close, so this premium price, because it's a put, will be a little lower, and because it's elevated from the closing price, this call price could be a little elevated, but we're getting closer to, we lost 1 day of theta, which is time decay. So it could balance itself out. So, but this is what I'm going to start with today. Buy myself a little time. No point in getting crazy on a Monday. Let's just see what's happening. The volatility is still there. You don't know what kind of news is going to happen. So that's what I'll start with today. I could switch it depending on what kind of movement we get in the market. It does happen just because on today I start with 370 by the end of the day. If the market rallies and rallies big, this could change to 380. Or if the market tanks, this could change to 365, and this could change to 350. So it depends on what the market does. So you can definitely be agile with your strike prices. You just have to see what the market gives you. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. So again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel by hitting that thumbs up button and liking the video also. But if you hit the bell, you'll get future notifications on videos that I make. And then also go down in the description, join our Discord community for live trading from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. And also, if you go and join in Discord community, go in the general chat. I have a poll right now that I just put out yesterday for a live stream YouTube that I want to start doing on Sunday, and for a Q&A. So just give me a vote on what a time slot would work best for you, and I'll try to iron down a time because I want to do the first one this Sunday. If I don't see you in the Discord channel, I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Have a great and safe trading day. Talk to you soon.